He's a blockchain analytics professional with over 6 years of proven experience in machine learning, deep learning, and data science to drive process efficiencies as well as data integrity. He has expertise in data mining and data science methodologies. In today's episode, let us chat with Saravanan Jaichandran, co-founder and chief data scientist at BitsCrunch. This is the Guiding Voice podcast series, the Guiding Voice for a better future. Folks, I'm your host, Navin Samala, just a fellow IT professional on a mission to shape the careers and lives of millions across the globe. In every episode, we interact with industry experts or thought leaders or academicians or coaches across the globe to drive some insightful conversations which will help you learn amazing stuff. Also, we share an interesting trivia or a fun fact towards the end. And you will acquire more knowledge by tuning into the Guiding Voice per every minute than any other podcast in this space. Thank you so much for joining us today. And today we are going to discuss in detail about NFT, non-fungible tokens, and what are the domains that NFTs are currently in and how the future of NFTs look like. Along with that, let's also explore some career opportunities within NFT space. And we are extremely pleased to have Saravanan, part of the Guiding Voice journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Saravanan, it is awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for accepting our invite and joining us today. Hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice.
Thanks, Naveen. Thank you so much for the awesome introduction. Yeah, also thanks for having me in your esteemed podcast series. And it's always a good sign to share our thoughts and ideas throughout our entrepreneurship journey so that it might be helpful for the fellow entrepreneurs down the lane. Happy to be here and looking forward to having a good conversation going forward.
Likewise. All right. Yeah. Let's kick off the conversation, Saravanan. Can you share with our audience the top 3 things that have helped you professionally in your career so far?
Yep. Top 3 things, right? So yeah, it goes this way. So yeah, it always looks so fancy to hold the C-suite leadership, the leadership tag. So, but it also takes a lot of effort to hold the show. So from my perspective, consistency, patience, and determination have helped me to get to this point. And keeping up with these traits is my objective and my goal.
Awesome. So consistency, patience, and determination.
Yes.
Wonderful. Saravanan, we had a brief conversation. We hosted your co-founder Vijay on this show. And we spoke a bit about BitsCrunch and how it has evolved and what kind of services that you guys are offering to the community and the industry as such. So I don't want to touch on the basics of NFTs, but maybe we can dive a little deep in today's conversation. Probably you can share how this artificial intelligence can help NFTs.
So yeah, I mean, as you said earlier, NFTs are not a new thing to the people. I mean, everyone knows about what NFTs are and what their capabilities are up to. With regards to AI aspect, so NFTs are in right now going crazy, right? So are the NFT scammers. So they are finding new ways to manipulate and deteriorate the NFT space, preventing the NFT enthusiasts and the collectors or the newbies from entering into the NFT ecosystem. So yeah, at BitsCrunch, we have identified 3 main issues, out of which the first thing is wash trading. So people tend to circulate the NFT assets among a closer group of people just to inflate or pump the price of the NFT. So that the NFT, the NFT as enthusiasts or the collectors are lured into those artificially pumped NFTs, and they are attracted to it, and they are forced to buy those NFTs irrespective of the closer circulation within a closed loop. So we at BitsCrunch have built a knowledge graph out of it using AI algorithms to identify different patterns in identifying those malicious wash trading activities and help the customers in helping the purchasing decisions, the buying or selling decisions to not to fall for those praise. So that's the first thing which we are addressing. And the second thing is copycats and the forgeries. So I think more than 90% of the NFT assets in OpenSeas has been forged, and the copycats and the manipulated versions of the original NFTs. I think I have happened to read about it in a blog the previous week. So again, we are addressing the same issue So with the current technology we have, so we are free to simply right click and save any of the images or the assets that we find online, right? And with the abundant tools that we find online, so either it can be a free version or a paid version. They can, I mean, people can use those tools to manipulate the original art or the digital assets, right? So they can add or remove any of the elements in the original asset, and they can again resell it as a new NFTs or the new images, and they can claim to be its owners. So by doing so, the provenance of the art and the artworks will be lost, right? So yeah, we are again using AI to identify the copycats and the forged versions of the original NFT artists to protect the provenance of the artworks and the artist. So that's the second issue. And third issue is, as of now, it's quite challenging to price the NFTs. So people find it difficult to price the NFTs, as there is no standardized rules or regulations for pricing the NFTs. So yeah, again, we at WITTY are considering the factors like whether the particular asset has been involved in wash trading or not, and whether the asset is original version or forged version of any other previous artist artworks, and what's the asset's previous sale history. We do consider the factors like the factors said above, and we'll be giving out the estimated price for NFT assets. So yeah, basically these three are the things which we are working at WITTY, and for all these services we use AI to help the NFT users and the enthusiasts to make better informed decisions in their purchasing NFTs.
Mm-hmm. So
So that's how we leverage.
Okay, so AI plays a very critical role in securing these NFTs, and you guys are leveraging it to the greatest extent.
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful. Now, can you talk about the domains in which NFTs are already existing?
Domains. So domains in the sense segments, right? So NFT
segments and businesses, and in terms
as of now, NFTs have been spread quietly across various industries. So the most popular segment is art segments, and there is a spike in the gaming segment, play to earn segment, and apart from that, there are some few use cases in the real estate, supply chains, even fashion industries, and even the ticketing industries as well are some of the few segments to name. And apart from that, there is a one segment where people can easily connect is the movie industries. So lately are even Collywood and Tollywood industries, movie industry started making use of the NFTs for their movie promotions. So you can think about the KGF and Radhesham, and even lately Vikram to join those lists. So yeah, people are making use of the NFTs as their one of their promotional strategies.
Mm-hmm. Quite interesting. And where do you see the future in terms of what other segments can be expected in this space?
Expected in the sense the future emerging trends of the segments, right?
Yeah, future emerging trends of the segments.
Yeah, where I could see is like, the popular brands and the other segments are getting into the metaverse world. So, there is an abundant exposure and adoption will be much more in the metaverse segment. And apart from that, game finance will play a major role. So, game finance and the collectible segment will play a major role going forward.
Mm-hmm. Great. And now let's shift gears and talk about your entrepreneurship journey. What are some tough lessons that you have learned?
Okay. Entrepreneurship is tough. The road to entrepreneurship is always tough and rough, right? So, and then the tough gets going, where patience and endurance is what I believe that took me where I am right now. So from conceiving our idea to the dream we want to achieve, right? So starting from convincing the people to believe in our ideas, and it only gets you to many odds, and there is no single step or single road to success, right? So there are some of the hard lessons I have learned through. So just one step at a time, and you're closer to your passion and accomplishing your goals. Just take one step at a time, and have the conviction in your idea and whatever the stuff you believe in.
Wonderful to see these kind of lessons coming from the young entrepreneurs, because this is going to inspire our audience very much.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I'm pretty much glad, and yeah, I mean, if some of my experiences would help the fellow entrepreneurs, and yeah, then it's good to go.
Absolutely. That's the whole purpose of the guiding voice, because we wanted to provide curated guidance. People don't have to experience something by themselves, rather learn from others' experiences.
Exactly. So they don't want to commit the same mistakes that we do in our
Exactly.
entrepreneurship journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Saravanan, can you shed some light around career opportunities in the blockchain and NFT space, and how can somebody become a chief data scientist like you?
Yeah, I mean, I started my journey as a simple data science engineer. I mean, data scientist and working with tabular data. So later, then I happened to do transition into the blockchain space through a hackathon. So where we explored our potentials in the blockchain space, and we find that there are some places where AI, I mean, blending the our expertise with the AI and blockchain data can make wonders and make better place for the creator economy, basically. So yeah, making a better place for the creator economy is all about the Web3, right? So Web3 is basically a decentralized platform where you'll be unleashing the all the powers and authorities to whoever involved in the network. So in order to make it a better place, and in order to increase the adoption of it, so you need to have some tools or the offerings that should safely I mean, increase the trust and integrity among the users, right? So that it gets to cater to a greater adoption among the masses. Yeah, I mean, started my career as a data scientist. So there is again, there is no single path to finding your place in the industry. So what I would suggest is to have strong conviction and find roles. I'll try to assess the skills first. So what are the areas where I'm good at, and what are the areas where I'm good? I mean, I need some improvisation. So first I will do that, and probably after that I'll try to upskill the areas where that need some more iterations or some assistance going forward. And then I would suggest the fellow people to work on the pet projects and contribute to the open source community. So there is a wonderful open source community out there. So probably that's the best place to collaborate. I mean, work in a collaborative fashion where you can explore the synergies across the people, among the people across the globe. And yep, that's how you work, and that's how you find where your conviction is and what you are up to. Yeah, then obviously it will lead you to the place where you are destined to.
Yeah. Any recommendations on the platform for this open source? Can we find
Yeah,
something
again,
on GitHub or
yeah,
anywhere
yes. I
else?
mean, yeah, you can contribute on the GitHub. So I mean, there is a good community surrounding the GitHub. So you can work on the open source projects and contribute to them through
Yeah.
GitHub repos.
In fact, yeah, this is a wonderful tip, because not only this technology, but any technology, in case if you really want to know or test the waters, right? Probably contributing to open source projects might help. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would recommend people not to run behind the fancy terms of data scientist or blockchain engineer or blockchain developer, just because it gives you more and more money, or just because any of the job recommendations or job portals stating that the average salary for so and so position is 100K, 200K. So I don't want the fellow people to, get attracted to those numbers. What I would suggest is to find a designation that motivates you on a daily basis, so that you don't feel like working on a daily basis. So I mean, it should motivate you, and it should drive you in a way that you don't feel like working, right? So I would recommend people to find such designations and such segments where they can put their full potential.
Absolutely. Yeah. We should not feel like working. I think that's another important reminder. When you're passionate about something, you don't feel like work is different from what you do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. So, Saravanan, this has been a serious conversation, but let's lighten up the mood of our audience. Okay. I would like to quickly fire a few interesting rapid fire questions, and wherein you can answer them crisply, like 1 or 2 words. If you're okay, let's get started.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. So let me fire the first bullet, Saravanan. What is your favorite childhood memory, or maybe any naughty thing that you would like to share with our audience? Anything it could be.
Childhood memory. So I still remember getting my first pet. So I still have the first pet with me. So I happen to do have a fish tank. So
Ah,
out of which I have, it's close to more than 10 years, I guess. So I have the fish which I bought 10 years still with me. So I
wow.
still remember the day I got my first pet in my hands. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. Now, can you share about your favorite book?
I'm not used to reading large and large of books, but I tend to read quite some books that I find interesting. So out of it, recently I happened to read about The Alchemist by
Okay.
Paul Coelho. So
Yeah.
it's quite interesting, and it gives you a ray of hope and positivity.
Yeah.
So yeah, The
Especially
Alchemist.
the climax, and climax is something which is so
Ah,
intriguing.
exactly. I
That's
mean,
where we
yeah,
are.
even you are happened to read the same, right? Yeah.
I read it long back. I still remember that. All right. So now let's talk about your favorite sport.
Obviously cricket, and Dhoni is a big fan of Dhoni, captain.
Okay, great. What is one thing that you would like to change in your past?
I wish I want to be pretty straightforward and answer honestly. So I wouldn't change anything in my life. So because it would have a negative impact on who I am right now. So I don't
Yeah.
want to change anything.
Yeah. See, this brings interesting perspective. What they say is, as per Murphy's law, like typically, if you stand in a queue, okay, which is so lengthy, and suddenly you stand in some other queue, and that counter will get closed, and you happen to again come back and
Exactly.
stand at the back, right? So whatever is
So I
supposed to
know
happen, it will
I'm not
happen.
willing to. Exactly. I'm not willing to reinvent the wheel once again.
I get it. But even if you are reinventing, what is supposed to happen, it will happen.
Exactly.
I read a story very recently. That's why, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
All
There
right,
are
so
something, right? So that's out of our control. So yeah.
true. Great. So great going. And one last question for the rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
I'm not a scientist to invent, but yeah, I'm pretty much eager and excited to witness Elon Musk's Neuralink. So that's brain and brain machine interface, right? So I'm pretty much eager and excited about how this will look like in the real future and how it will get people's adoption.
Quite interesting. All right. So that was a fabulous rapid fire. And before I let you go, one final question for this conversation. Saronan, what will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers or lives? Anything you can share?
Yeah, I'm not that big to give advices, but still, I'll give some suggestions that I find it interesting from my seniors and through my entrepreneurship journey. So, yeah, my advice to the fellow people would be to ask questions. So, if not this career which you are right now, so what's the one problem you would want to solve for the community or the people out there, and you are in? What is it that you want to make it right? So you may find it wrong, or you may wish to have it, you might be seeing it in a different perspective, right? So what's the one problem that you see, or that you would love to change or would love to see in a different perspective? So I would suggest to ask questions like that. That's the first question. And the second thing is like, it's always now or never, right? And it's never too late to start. So what I would suggest is to work on finding the solutions for those problems. And yeah, and there you go. Probably will be en route to your destinations and what you dreamt of. And one final thing, as I said earlier in our session, so whatever you believe in, whatever the thoughts or the ideas you have, be confident and have conviction towards your idea, and always believe in what you dreamt of.
Wonderful tips. Really loved each one of them. And this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Saronan, for being part of our show. And thanks for being part of our journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks again, and yeah, it's pleasure sharing my knowledge with your community, Naveen. It's always pleasure being, and thanks for hosting me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Likewise. Yeah. Perfect. So, folks, before we move into the trivia section, here is a small request to you. In case if you have loved this episode and found it useful, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who can benefit from the guiding voice, because your friends also will learn new stuff like you, and we will gain a set of new subscribers. Also, in case if you haven't subscribed to us so far, please subscribe from the app where you have tuned in from, so that you'll be notified about all the future episodes. Thank you so much in advance. Now let's cruise into the trivia segment of today's episode. Today's trivia is about NFT collection. And of course, we had a detailed conversation with Saravanan on how to secure NFT and which are segments that are already trending in the NFT space, so on and so forth. Now let's talk about the NFT collection itself. As per a report by Morning Consults, a consulting organization, about 23% of the millennials in the United States collect NFTs. And in the recent survey, it is found that 1 in 3 American adults collect some sort of physical item, either as an investment or a hobby. And out of those who identify as collectors, 1 in 4 also engage with NFTs. Meanwhile, 42% of the millennials are collecting non-fungible tokens. And I'm really curious, if you have also collected any NFTs, please share the details in comments or drop us an email at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Folks, I'm your host, Naveen Samala, a fellow IT professional and a passionate learner on a mission to shape the careers and lives of millions across the globe. Until next time, bye-bye. See you all in the next episode.